So guys, in this video we are going to see about these exception handlers, and first we will see about normal exception handler, and then we'll move on to structured exception handler. So if your code contains like division by 0 and accessing 100th element of an array that consists of only 10 elements, then these will raise some exceptions, and you need to handle those exceptions, otherwise program will stop at that point. So what I can do is I can say try. So this is not the Python syntax, this is the C syntax. Just no need to worry about that, I'm just explaining the concept. So you will write the try block, and then you will define the code here. So if there is any exception in the code, these exception handlers will handle it. So you need to write, suppose a division by 0, and you need to handle that exception separately by using this exception handler. And if there is array index out of bound, like you are accessing 100th element in a 10 elements list, then you need to write the handler to handle that code. So this is the another exception handler. So these two are the only exception handlers in your code, and if there is any other exception that cannot be handled by these two exceptions, then our OS handler gets into the place. So this OS handler handles that exception. Even if the OS handler fails to handle that exception, then you will see in the Windows systems you will get an error like send error report to Microsoft, don't send, etc. So that is the when as OS handler fails. So now that is all basic exception handler. When we are writing the code, we need to make sure that we have written enough exception handlers, otherwise it leads to SSH overflows. So now let's go on and see this structured exception handler. So this structured exception handler is developed by Borland and licensed to Microsoft. So that's why you will not see SSH handler in the Linux systems. And as you can see, this is a structured manner, that is, it's a data structure and it contains some nodes. You can see the first is pointed to exception handler, that is, if there is, suppose think this as a divide by 0 exception handler, and there is a pointer. If there is any divide by 0 exception, then this handler will handles. Other than that, it will pass this exception to the next SSH record, that is the next SSH handler. So if this any exception this does not handle, it will just pass that to the next exception handler. Suppose say index out of bounds, so this will handle that exception. If any other exception other than these two can't handle, then it will simply pass to this OS exception handler. This is the SSH handler, and this address is RFs. So this is the last exception handler you will see. So these are created in a last in first out manner. That means first there will be default exception handler, and then this record will be created, and then this one. When freeing the memory, this will go off, and this will go off, and this will remain until the program exits. So what you can do is, when you can try to overflow this SSH data also, like same like Stack Overflow. So now what, there is a structure for this SSH handler, and we are going to see this. So this is the structure, and you can see the first one is exception record. This exception record is a data structure of type p_exception underscore record, and it contains some members. So what you can do is this exception record, press 8 bytes. After 8 bytes you will have the address to the next SSH, which is this one. So whenever there is this exception handler fails, you need to send the data to the next SSH handler, right? So it will store the address of the next SSH after 8 bytes of this exception record. So now what you can do is, you can simply say pop return. So now it will pop off these 8 bytes into some, say, any registers, and then this return will place this address of next SSH into EIP register, and then the code at this pointer to next SSH gets executed. Now we can jump over this 4 bytes, and we can place the shellcode here, and we can execute the shellcode there. So that is all you need to remember about this structure of this exception handler. So don't worry if this seems confusing. In the next video we will do practical and you will get much more clear understanding. So now let's go ahead and try to see SEHA. In Immunity Debugger, click on View, click on SEHA. You can see there are two SEH handlers, that is MSW SOC and Kernel32. Now right click on this, click on Follow Address in Stack. And as you can see here, there is a SEH handler and the pointer to next SEH handler. If this SEH handler fails, then the execution flows to this 022 FFE0. And let's go and type dump the content at this address 0x0022FFE0, and if you hit enter, you can see this is all F's. This is the address of the Windows SEH handler. So you can also type dump fs this segment 0x00, and if you hit enter, you will get the same value. This is this one. You can see this in the return area byte address 0022FFE0. This is the first handler, the address of the first handler. So in general, what we will do is, in overflow, we will overflow all this data with yes, and this SEH handler with the address pointing to pop return. Pop will take off this first 8 bytes, and then return will place the next SEH address to the EIP, and then after executing, the control flow flows from this SEH handler to this pointer to next SEH handler. Now EIP points to this one. Here I can jump over these 4 bytes and I can jump to this place and I can start executing our shellcode here. So now we will get the reverse shell. So this is a very simple one than you think. In the next video we will get much more clear because we will do the practical of it. So I think that's all about this SEH handler. Just there, and these SEH handlers will create dynamically when there is a function, and then these exception handlers are placed on the stack, and there is a when there is an end of that function, these exception handlers are removed or dereferenced. So that's all about this SEH handler theory. In the next video, after seeing the demo, you will say this SEH overflows are easy than basic stack overflows.